Visualization is a extraordinarily powerful skill. And you may have heard of the law of attraction. You may have heard of the word visualization. You may have heard of the word manifesting. I call it seeing signs. So I'm a master at seeing positive signs. I am a master of creating coincidences. I have the world's most incredible luck. You want to know why? Because I understand the science and the skill of visualization. I know that your brain, it is a gigantic detective machine. Your brain is a filter. Your brain is constantly looking for evidence. And that's good news. It's good news when you know how to use it to your advantage. Let me explain. So your brain has a system in it. Here's the technical term. It's called the reticular activating system. It is a network of neurons all up in here. And what is the job of the reticular activating system? It is a filter system. It's basically a system that allows certain information in your brain and it blocks out other information. And guess who programmed that filter? You did. And so did the people from your past. And so if you constantly feel like you're unlovable, guess what? Your reticular activating system is going through the day and it is going to point out every single piece of evidence that confirms that negative belief that you have. If you think that people don't like you at work, the reticular activating system, the filter, it is literally going to be looking for evidence to confirm that belief all day long. This is one of the reasons why we have such a problem with politics in this country. This is why there's something called a confirmation bias. Confirmation bias means your mind loves to read things that you agree with, because reading things that you agree with confirms your filter. Why do we have a reticular activating system? There's a really important reason why you have this. The reason why is if your brain let in everything. Have you ever looked at a Facebook page? Have you noticed how many words are on a standard Facebook page, and the ad over here and the ad over here and the ad over here and the ad and the news feed right here and the stuff up here and all this over here? If your brain took in everything at equal value, your head would literally explode off your shoulders. Your brain would melt down. And so the reticular activating system protects your brain by filtering information and only letting in stuff that it agrees with. So that's the scientific reason and mandate for why you got to get busy reprogramming that thing. Because if you live like I have lived for a very long time, one of the beliefs that I had, and we're going to be talking about this a lot this month, one of the beliefs that I had for a very long time is that I was a bad person, that I was not lovable, that I did not deserve to be a good person, that people didn't think I was a good person, and consequently, that led me to do a lot of hurtful things to myself. It led me to do a lot of hurtful things to people that I cared about, and it really damaged decades of my life. And I believed it. I believed it, and it drove my actions, and I saw evidence everywhere. If you're going to do a mindset reset, you've got to change what you believe about yourself. And so for those of you that had a very negative assessment of 2018 and you're feeling down about your goals already as you look at 2019, you have a very negative belief system about yourself. And that's going to stop right now, because now we're going to talk about visualization and how you use it in order to start to reprogram the reticular activating system in your brain so that your brain starts to spot opportunity. Your brain starts to spot evidence that things are working out. Your brain starts to spot coincidences so you can build momentum. And it begins with visualization. So as you take your goals, right? So you've written down all these goals, right, for 2019. I want you to go to each one And I want you to do a visualization exercise. And here's how you're going to do it based on science, because there's a particular way you have to do this based on science, okay? It's a two-step method. So let's take self-worth, because we had a question about self-worth. If your goal is to improve your self-worth, I want you to visualize what your life looks like and how you're going to feel about yourself when your self-worth has improved. Here's how you're going to do it. So there's two things that you have to do when it comes to visualization. You have to close your eyes. Truly, I know it sounds stupid, but I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to, in your mind, have a specific picture of what it looks like in your life when your self-worth has improved. You're going to see yourself speaking up at work. You're going to see yourself talking more about your business. You're going to see yourself leaving bad relationships. You're going to see yourself defining boundaries. You're going to see yourself going to the gym. You're going to see yourself taking care of yourself. And when you start to visualize the image of that, I want you to consciously, this is step 2, consciously think of the positive emotions that you're going to feel. I'm going to feel happy. I'm going to feel proud. I'm going to stand taller. I'm going to be so grateful that I made this change. Marrying the specific picture. Oh, there I am. There I am. I'm at work and I'm raising my hand. Amazing. I'm sharing my idea. There I am. I'm getting a promotion. There I am asking for a raise. There I am. I've just signed up another customer to my business. There I am. I've gone back to school. I feel so good about myself. When you do that, here's what's actually happening in your brain. This is the cool science part. You are training your brain to have a totally different filter. You see, your brain, my brain, it doesn't know the difference between something that actually happened to you, like the F you got in your test in 10th grade, and the things you imagine that are happening to you. Let me say that again. Your brain doesn't know the difference between the bad things that actually happened to you, the real memories that you have, and an imagined memory that you're creating. Your brain will experience you visualizing going to the gym, you visualizing how happy you feel when you do, you visualizing asking for that raise and getting it and how proud you're going to feel. Your brain, when you visualize in the way that I'm teaching you to, it encodes it as a real memory. And that's important because when you encode it as a real memory, it changes the filter system, that reticular activating system. And here's what we know based on research. The more you visualize things, number one, the greater your confidence is going to be, the greater security you're going to have about it. And here's the really cool thing. The more you do this with your goals, you wake up every day and you just visualize. It takes 30 freaking seconds, for crying out loud. You visualize having a great day at school. You visualize curing your panic and how proud you're going to be. What studies suggest and have proven is that simply visualizing yourself doing things actually develops the skill and helps you improve the skills, just as if you were actually doing it. And so there's proof based on research that visualization helps you build skills. And then finally, the other thing that's really important about this is that the more that you do this, what we know based on research is that the reason why you start to believe what you think is because you are reprogramming your brain. You are changing the network of neurons that act as a filter. And so the more that you actually believe in yourself and you start thinking and visualizing yourself speaking up, the more confident you're going to become, the more skills that you're building, and you're actually going to do it. And then instead of looking for all the reasons when you're sitting in a meeting to not speak up, you're going to just speak up because you're going to have changed the filter. You're going to look for opportunities. This is how it works. This is why this is so incredibly important. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to go through all of the goals that you set for 2019. If you don't have your Mindset Reset guide, no problem. Go to melrobbins.com/mindset reset. We have almost 200,000 people in this program. If you're sitting there watching this saying, God, I wish my sister were doing this. I wish my entire team at Arbonne, at Isogenics, at Beachbody, at Legal Shield, at Rodan and Fields, at Nerium, at give me some more that Kiani, at USANA, at Yoli. Young Living, at Yoli. Boy, oh boy, I would get them in the program, for crying out loud. Because every single day you're going to learn a trick like the one I just taught you that is free, that is proven by science and research to work, that I use all the time in order to change how I think, and that will serve you as you start to change your life for the better. I'm seeing a bunch of questions about, of course you can still sign up for this. melrobbins.com/mindset reset. It's free. I'm not selling you anything. Here's why I'm doing this, because I know the single thing that's holding you back is how you think. You have the ability to set goals. You have the ability to take the actions that change your life. You have the ability to have the conversations that scare the hell out of you. You have the ability to end relationships. You have the ability to write a book. You have the ability to do a Google search. You have the ability to change anything you want. But the only reason why you don't is because your mindset blows. And so day one, I want you to go through all the goals that you set. And I want you every single day throughout the next 30 days, you are going to spend 30 seconds. Your dreams deserve 30 seconds, don't you think? You're going to close your eyes and you're going to visualize, what does it look like in your life when you have achieved your monetary goals this year? How does it feel to go to the bank and see that balance? How does it feel to be able to write that check and take your kids to Disney World on money that you made? How does it feel to be able to rent your own place or put down a down payment for the house you've always dreamt of? How does it feel to be able to have saved enough money so you can quit the job that you hate and launch the business because you have achieved your goals? It feels darn good. That's how it feels. And I want you to just savor that, because what you're doing when you visualize is you're reprogramming your reticular activating system, that system of neurons, that network that acts like a filter in your brain so that it's spotting opportunity, so that it is helping you see evidence that you are confident, that you are capable, that you can do this, instead of all the garbage you think right now. Today is my favorite day of the program. It's Unfollow Friday. You heard that right. Unfollow Friday. Why is today Unfollow Friday? Well, the reason why today is Unfollow Friday is because one of the most toxic things that you are doing every single day for your mindset is you are following people, brands, meme accounts, celebrities, supermodels, people that have 18-pack abs, and you are doing it in the beginning for inspiration and for voyeurism and for entertainment. And now you've gotten to a point where stalking those people, looking at their perfectly manicured lives online, it's starting to weigh on you. It's making you feel like you're losing some imaginary race. It's making you jealous. It's making you insecure. It's making you have FOMO. It's making you feel like you're behind. It's giving you all kinds of visual evidence that is impacting you negatively. And that's why I love Unfollow Friday. Your social media channels are supposed to be for you. Think about it for a second. The channels that you create for yourself on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on YouTube, on Facebook, those are for you, by you, and they should support you. And what that means is they are serving a purpose, in my opinion. And that purpose is they should be accounts that empower you, that inspire you, that entertain you, that educate you, that make you a better person. You see, if you stop and think about it for a minute, yes, if you look at your average Facebook page, there's advertisements plastered all around. But the things that are in your feed are of your choosing. unless Facebook had planted them there because it's a sponsored post. And so I want you to take your attention seriously. And just like I hammer the idea that you must do a morning routine, that it is critical for your mindset. And what videos did we cover for the morning routine, Danielle?
The morning routine.
And if you haven't done the morning routine yet, those are videos.
They are videos 9 through 11.
Videos 9 through 11, we cover the morning routine. And we cover why, from a scientific and a research-backed standpoint, getting control of what you're thinking about first thing in the morning is critical to you not only resetting your mindset, but you setting yourself up to have a positive, focused mind all day long, non-negotiable. If this is the first video in the Mindset Reset series that you're watching, welcome. This is a month-long free program, and in order to get on the list, just go to melrobbins.com/mindset reset. This is not a funnel program where I'm going to try to sell you a mastermind group or an online course. This is just my gift to you to help you learn the tools, the research, the simple things that you can do in order to reset the way that you think. Because if you change how you think, you will change your life. And so one of the things I want you to change how you think is I want you to change how you think about social media. Social media is for you. And that's why it's super important. I do it every week. Every single Friday for me is Unfollow Friday. Based on where you are at this moment in your life, based on your dreams, based on your values, based on your goals, I want you to take a look at who you're following online and whether or not that account makes you feel good, whether it makes you feel powerful, whether or not it makes you feel like you are going to be the best you, whether it makes you smarter, healthier, and happier. If it doesn't do one of those things, get rid of it. If you are still checking in on and following an ex, and every time you look at one of their posts, it's like, unfollow and block. I had an interesting conversation with our now 18-year-old daughter, and this was 2 years ago that she left Instagram. And I thought it was an incredibly mature thing for her to say. I said, why are you leaving Instagram? And she said, I notice that when I look at it, I feel bad at myself because I follow all of these girls my age that are now bikini models, and I follow Fitspo accounts of all these people with perfect bodies who have time to work out, and puppy accounts. And other than the puppy accounts, I constantly feel like I'm missing out. I feel like I'm lacking something. I feel like there's stuff I need to be doing that I can't get to, and I feel bad. And so I don't want to be on Instagram anymore. And then she also said, I feel pressure to put up things that make it look like my life is great. And so I thought it was really astute. She's been off it for 2 years. She has not missed it at all. Occasionally she will check it, but building on that idea, you're giving people access to your attention when you follow and fan them. And so today, take your attention back, take control of your mindset, and make your social media account work for you. Any account that doesn't inspire you, doesn't empower you, doesn't make you feel good about yourself, doesn't educate or entertain you, get rid of it. There's also a really handy thing if you feel self-conscious about unfollowing toxic people in your life, you can mute them, which means you don't see them, but they don't know that you have put the big old mute button on their obnoxious posts. So that's another thing that you can do. But I want you to give me a thumbs up if you're going to commit to spending time today, tomorrow, Sunday. Monday is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day here in the United States. It's a day off. I want you to give us the thumbs up if you're going to spend a little bit of time today, over the weekend, whenever you've got the time that works for you, to unfollow Friday and make your social media account work for you and work for your mindset. I'm boarding a plane momentarily to fly home to Boston. It's like a 4.5-hour flight. Guarantee we're going to hit some turbulence. I'm going to take you on this plane and walk you step by step how you can use some simple tools to beat your fear of flying once and for all. All right, step number 1, and you have to do this before you get on the plane. You have to come up with an anchor thought. Here's how you do it. I want you to think about where you're flying to. Now, Ask yourself, what are you really excited to do once you get there? That thing that you're excited to do, that is your anchor thought. So in my case, I'm flying from Las Vegas from a speech home to Boston, Massachusetts. My anchor thought is going to be walking in the front door and seeing my dog Amigo and how excited I am going to feel when I finally get home from this business trip. So before I get on the plane, I have an anchor thought, which is what I'm excited to do when I get home to Boston. And then when we get on the plane, I'm going to explain to you how the anchor thoughts works and how you're going to use it to fight your fear of flying. All right, let's go. As you get closer to the airplane, you might start to feel nervous. This is where the anchor thought comes in. Start thinking about how excited you are to get to the place that you're going and be visualizing very specifically what it's going to feel like, in my case, to walk in the front door, see the dog, finally be home. You're going to use your anchor thought.
Coming off? Yes, actually they're.
You're going to use your anchor thought to stabilize your thoughts and not let worry hijack you, and that's going to keep your body stabilized and your physiology won't start getting all jacked up. So again, I keep thinking about walking in the front door and seeing Amigo. So when I used to be afraid of flying, the second that I got on the plane and I started to buckle in, I immediately started feeling really trapped. And this is why it's so important for you to practice this idea of the anchor thought, because what the anchor thought does is it basically anchors your mind on something super positive that's related to the flight that you're on. And by anchoring your mind on thoughts that are really positive, you have the ability to stabilize your body. And so as you're sitting in the seat, go back to your anchor thought and think about how excited you are to get to where you're going. You know, we're flying to Boston today, and there may be turbulence, there may be weird noises, there may be things that make me nervous. But if I always come back to the anchor thought as we're flying, and my anchor thought being walking in the front door, seeing Amigo, what's amazing is you have the ability to trick your brain, because by thinking about Amigo and walking in the front door, my mind gets tricked because it goes, oh, wait a minute, Mel's not worried about flying. She's actually just excited to get home. And so you use your anchor thought literally before you get on the plane, as you're getting on the plane, as you're sitting on the plane, and certainly through takeoff, through turbulence, you're going to keep coming back to it. And what your mind does is your mind basically says, holy cow, if Mel actually walks in the front door of her house and sees the dog, the flight made it. So there's nothing to worry about. Again, that's why it's so important to pick the thought related to the flight, to pick it before you get on, and to keep coming back to it, because your mind will start defaulting to, well, there's nothing to worry about because she's going to see her dog tonight, so of course the plane makes it. Number 2, you have to be on the alert for your mind hijacking you. Now, the pilot just came on the air and welcomed everyone on, and then said, you know, the faster we get on board, the faster we can make it to Long Beach. And the whole plane just went to Long Beach because, of course, we're going to Boston. Now, what's interesting is if you're somebody that's afraid of flying, you will look for every single reason to justify being nervous. And so if you're somebody that's afraid of flying and the pilot says we're going to Long Beach by mistake, which is probably where they came from, instead of Boston, which is where we're going, your mind, if you're not in control of it, will go, oh my God, he said Long Beach. Holy cow, this is a sign that the plane's going to go down. This is a warning that I need to get off right now. This is a sign from God that telling me that the plane's not going to make it to Boston. Oh my God, oh my God. And within 10 seconds, you've just lost control of your thinking. And so be very mindful when you're on the plane, when you get triggered. And it could be something as subtle as a pilot misspeaking the destination. It could be turbulence. It could be a loud noise. It could be a passenger that's wigging you out. But you got to be mindful of how quickly your brain will hijack you and will make you think crazy stuff. The fact that he mistakenly said we're going to Long Beach instead of Boston has absolutely nothing to do with anything. And the fact that I know that I'm going to be going in my front door and hugging my dog Amigo tonight means that intellectually I'm aware that this plane actually makes it to Boston. So there is absolutely nothing to be worried about. So really pay attention to how many things trigger you that don't need to trigger you, and fight to keep control of what you're thinking about, which is actually making it to the destination and doing something really exciting once you get there. Number 3, remember everything is a good sign, not a bad one, a good sign, because it means you're one step closer to getting to where you're going and doing the thing that excites you. In my case, hugging my dog and finally being home. Whether it's the door closing on the airplane, you're not trapped in like some sort of death tube. You're actually going home and you're going to see somebody that you love. Or whether it's the gate pulling away. That's good news. It's not bad news. You're not trapped. You're actually one step closer to getting home and doing something that you're excited about. So remember, everything that happens is a really good sign, because you're closer to doing the thing that excites you and getting where you're going.
Good night,
Yes.
See, that's a good sign. We're one step closer. We can't get to Boston and hug my dog without the door closing. And we can't get to Boston and hug Amigo without us pulling away from the gate. Bye, Vegas. Hello, Boston and Amigo. All right, number 4, make sure that before you get on the plane, you set yourself up for success by either creating a playlist of songs that you love or get something ready that you can watch. This is where I catch up on Stranger Things. And the reason why this is important is because if you're busy watching TV or listening to music that you love, the sounds are not going to freak you out. And so between tuning into something that you really love, whether it's a television show like Stranger Things or a playlist that you love to listen to, you're going to distract your mind, and you're also going to tune out the noises that might otherwise trigger you. And heck, I mean, why not listen to something that you love? After all, you're going to make it, and you're going to do something exciting that you, once you get there, so you might as well set yourself up to sit back and relax and actually enjoy yourself. And number 5, of course, you want to use the 5-second rule. So the second your thoughts drift, I mean, this is a 4.5-hour flight, so chances are we're going to hit turbulence. We're getting little bumps right now. Chances are there'll be a sound that I don't like. When my thoughts drift to something scary or nervous, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You got to count backwards to interrupt your habit of being afraid of flying and your habit of being worried. And you're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then drop in the anchor thought. Mine, of course, is walking in the front door, giving my dog a hug, seeing my husband, being home, and then tell yourself, I'm so excited to get to Boston, or I'm so excited to get where I'm going. And that's it. That's the 5 steps to actually curing your fear of flying. They sound stupid. They're extremely simple. They're backed by science. They are proven to work. They've worked for me. They've worked for thousands of people around the world, and they will work for you. Today's lesson is very short, and it is entitled, Think This, Not That. Yesterday and the past couple days, we have been building on the topic of how you become a deliberate thinker. You have already learned that there are 2 modes in your brain. There's autopilot and the things that you default to, and then there is your ability to deliberately choose what you are going to think about. And when you start to realize and embrace the fact that being a deliberate thinker is a skill, and it is one that I want you to master, and it's one that I want you to practice. Because doing a mindset reset, it's not an event. It's a process, and it's a process that you're going to do over and over and over again, because the negative and limiting beliefs that you have that are already set to your default, those are encoded in the default network in your brain. And so it's going to be a process that you need to repeat. The second you catch yourself thinking something that is negative or is a limiting belief or is something that was stuck in your mind from somebody in your past, the second you catch yourself defaulting to that, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you're going to switch gears and you are going to think about something deliberate. And so yesterday, your assignment was to notice all day long when your mind was drifting to those default negative thoughts. And what I wanted you to do is I wanted you to write down what are the default negative thoughts that you had throughout your day. And many of you were startled to discover just how often you're thinking really nasty things about yourself. You were bummed and a little bit sad to realize, holy cow, I can't believe how often I tell myself I'm not good enough. I can't believe how often I tell myself that my ideas aren't good and I shut myself up. And there were just as many of you that were liberated when you started to realize, wait a minute, this isn't the voice of God talking to me. This is some programming that's set on default. I don't have to live my life and I don't have to have a future where I constantly say things that are negative to myself. This is the most miraculous thing that I've ever heard. And so what I want you to do in the comments is I want you to write what was the limiting belief or the negative thing that kept coming up, because there were a lot of themes. Christine Nichols said that her limiting belief is that she believes she's a quitter. She believes she can't finish anything. And she started to see examples of it over and over and over again. And what she also started to realize is, holy cow, it's a lie. There's lots of things that I've finished in my life, but if I continue to have the limiting belief that I'm a quitter, if I look out to the future, I will be giving myself permission to not go for harder things. I will give myself permission to quit. A lot of the common beliefs that we heard was that I'm too old. How many of you feel like you're too old to get the things that you want in your life? That is super common. So if you think I'm too old to do this, if you think I've run out of time, if you think, who am I at the age that I am or as young as I am to think that I could do this thing, first of all, you're wrong. And secondly, that's a limiting belief that is stopping you. It's a default mode that we need to get you out of. Huge one for you all was, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough when it comes to other people. I'm not as good as other people. And let me tell you something. This is an epidemic, feeling like you're not good enough, because way too many of us spend our days comparing our imperfect lives to perfect strangers on the internet. And so the feeling like you're not good enough, you're not measuring up, that there's some sort of imaginary race that you're running against the rest of humanity, and that by now, at this point in your life, you're supposed to be at a certain place. And how do you know that? Because every time you look on social media, there are hundreds of people in your face that seem to be at the place that you thought you would be. And so that just reinforces it. And oh my God, the default network is getting stronger. If that's how you feel, you're not alone. That was the single biggest one that we noticed in all of your comments from all over the world. I am not good enough. And we heard loud and clear that you got it from your mom, or you got it from your dad, or you got it from some horrible person that you were in a relationship with. And the problem is you started to believe it, and it got encoded in the default network. So now that you've seen it, good job. You can't get rid of the default until you actually spot it. And now that you've seen it, I want you to realize for the rest of your life, you have a job. And your job is to make sure that when that default network kicks back up and you start to murmur that you're too old, you're not smart enough, you're not good enough, that is a moment where you have got to do a mindset reset. And the way that you're going to do it, because you're learning that there's two modes of your brain, the default, I'm not good enough, and the deliberate, oh yeah, I can try, is we're going to teach you that you can think this, not that. That whenever this default mode comes up of I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not enough, whatever enough is, that you can spot it as the default and you can get deliberate and you can say something different. In the body of this broadcast on Facebook, on YouTube. Where else are we putting this?
Twitter.
On Twitter. Although it won't be on Twitter, the copy. But in the email that we're about to send you with links to this video, and on YouTube and on Facebook, we are going to give you a very long description of alternatives on how you think this, not that. And we're going to give you some things that you can play around with to insert to start to build a deliberate network. And if you don't like these, no problem. Make something up that you really like. But the point is that if you don't get deliberate, you will be stuck with the default mode of thinking. And the way that you reprogram your default mode of thinking so that the default becomes positive and the default becomes courageous and the default becomes loving is first you catch the negative default, and second, you direct it to something deliberate. So instead of thinking, no one likes me, this is mine because I think I'm a bad person. No one likes me. What I want you to think instead is the right people love me. That's pretty powerful. That's really powerful for me. I constantly remind myself that the right people love me, that the right people are in my life. Instead of saying, oh, nobody likes me or I'm not part of that group, I remind myself that the right people, the people I need, they're the ones that are in my life right now. If you're somebody who says, I'm too old, here's what I want you to say, I have plenty of time. Or you could say, I have so much experience, I'm definitely going to succeed. If you say, I'm too young, then say anything you want, from I have plenty of time to learn what I need to learn, to being young is an advantage, to whatever it is. The point that I'm trying to make is, if your default is negative, I don't want you to think that. I want you to catch it when you do, and then I want you to think this, something positive. If you're constantly thinking, I'm behind, you look at social media and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm losing the race of life. Then I want you to think, I'm on my own timeline. It's not I'm behind, it's I'm doing things in my own time. Another one you could say if you say I'm behind is I'm exactly where I need to be. One of the big things that I always say is that you never move to the next level of your life until you learn the lesson in this one. Instead of thinking I'm not smart enough, I want you to think, if I put in the work, I can do anything. Instead of thinking I'm not smart enough, say, hey, if I put in the work, I can learn anything. If I put in the work, I can master anything. If I put in the work, I can build anything. It's not about smarts. It's about the effort that I put in. That's another thing that you could say. Instead of saying I'm not smart enough, go, well, hey, you dummy, it's not about being smart. It's about the work. Make this yours. If you can make it funny, fantastic, because then that cuts the seriousness that so many of us bring to trying to change our lives. This can be fun, Instead of thinking I'm not good enough, I love this one. How about I'm doing the best I can? Or I'm exactly where I need to be. I think one of the most important things that you can do in life is you can ask for what you need. You can ask it of yourself. You can ask it of your work. You can ask it of your spouse. You can ask it of your family. You can ask it of your friends. And you should. Because when you ask for what you need, you are honoring what's true for you. Now, here's the interesting thing. You might not get it. And getting what you are asking for, it's not the point. When you have the courage to stop listening to those limiting default beliefs and start asking of yourself and asking of the people around you the things that you need, what you're doing in the asking is you are honoring the best part of you. And whatever it is that you receive, trust me, you need this right now because you're learning something in it. There is no experience in your life that is wasted. And so I know that many of you, because I've been reading the comments every single day, so has every member of our team, I know that so many of you are feeling at a very low point. I know you're feeling beaten down. I want to tell you something. There is something to learn in this. And one of the places that you can start is, instead of thinking about how miserable things are, and instead of thinking about how broken you feel, I want you to think about how much you've survived. I want you to think about the fact that even though you may feel broken and you may feel scared and you may feel completely overwhelmed, that in order to get beyond this, you got to understand that the world and your future are not broken and overwhelming. In fact, they are there to help you make the changes that you need. I truly believe this. And so again, today, You're going to continue what you were doing yesterday, because guess what? Now that I've opened Pandora's box and you understand there's a default mode and there's a deliberate mode to the way that you think, and now that you've spent a day looking at how your default thoughts kind of stink and they make you feel bad, and you realize, wow, I could change through deliberate thinking the way that I talk to myself, this is something you're going to practice for the rest of your life. This is not a one and done. This is not an event. This is a practice. This is a process, and this is a skill. And so here's what I want you to do today. I want you to write down what is in the comments, what is your limiting belief, and what is it that you're going to think deliberately when that limiting belief comes up. So for me, when the belief comes up, nobody likes me. That's the default mode. The deliberate thing I'm going to think is the right people love me. The other one that I have is I'm constantly worried that I'm disappointing somebody. Constantly. And so when I'm worried and I feel that spidey sense come up, that tingly thing that's in your body, like, uh-oh, am I disappointing that person? Am I disappointing that person? Instead of thinking that, I'm going to think the only person I have to worry about not disappointing is me, because I'm the only person that I'm in control of anyway. In fact, I just had a big conversation with my daughter about this, about how we get so wrapped up in our lives about making sure other people are okay. And so we aren't direct, we hide information, we worry about things. And the easiest way to live your life is to just speak plainly about what's true for you. What did I just say earlier? Ask for what you need. And that also includes telling the truth about what you're thinking, about what you're doing, about who you're spending your time with. Because the minute that you're hiding information, you're kind of managing stuff with people, you're now in the default mode, because you're managing disappointing people, you're managing whether or not people like you, you're thinking that you're not good enough, so you're lying and hiding information. That's how the default mode and all these negative thinkings start to creep in and make you do things that you know you shouldn't be doing. But it starts with your thinking. If you change how you think, you will change your life. Mandy, is there anything else that I should be adding in this? In the email and in the body copy on Facebook and YouTube, we will give you examples for think this, not that, but you can create your own. You're too old, you got plenty of time. You're not good enough, you're going to try. Or, oh yeah, watch me. Or I don't believe you. You can come up with anything as long as it empowers you and it's deliberate. And so it's important for you today to write down your limiting beliefs, and then I want you to go through the process, and you can do this in the comments. What is the thing that you're going to think deliberately today? What are you going to choose to say to yourself when your attitude starts circling the drain? And instead of flushing your thoughts down the toilet and the rest of the day with it, no, I'm not going to go down the default network. I'm going to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 make a decision. And I'm going to be deliberate about what I think about today.
This one's from Marcus on Facebook. I have a dream to lose 100 pounds. I've been overweight my entire life, and I've never been able to make the lifestyle change to make whatever weight I lose stay off. I always have the excuse I'll start Monday, or I already slipped up, so I might as well just give up, or I'll spend days coming up with a workout or diet plan and never actually get around to doing it. How do I make this time different? Well, Marcus, number one, I need you to change your approach. First of all, losing weight is not about what you eat or what you exercise. It's not about the plan. You've got to start with what's up here. You need to change your thoughts before you're going to stick to a plan. So I'm going to give you a piece of advice that is part of what I recommend people start doing, because I think the issue is not your ability to stick to a plan. I think the issue is your limiting beliefs are so strong and they are so ingrained in you that you will not allow yourself to stick to a plan because you don't believe you deserve to. You don't believe that you're good enough. And so we got to start right there. This is going to sound really weird, but tomorrow morning I want you to start, or tonight, you can start tonight when you go to bed. Whatever your non-dominant hand is. So I'm a right-hander, which means my left hand is my non-dominant hand. So use whatever hand you do not use to write. And when you go to brush your teeth tonight, and every morning and every evening from here on out, I want you to pick up the toothbrush with your non-dominant hand, the hand you normally don't use, and I want you to brush your teeth with that hand. And while you're brushing your teeth with that hand, I want you to say to yourself, I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to feel good about myself. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to feel good about myself. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to feel good about myself. Oh, that's my bread that I'm baking. Hold on one second. Yes, I'll go get it. My bread is baking. Hold on.
Do you want me to grab it?
No, I'll just pull it out of the oven. I think it needs like 5 more minutes with the lid off. Oh my God, there's a ton going on around here, people. This actually looks really good, everybody. Look at this. I'm going to my cousin Sarah's house tonight. And so I tried to make gluten-free bread for the first time. That looked pretty good.
Does look good.
Yeah, we'll see. It's probably going to taste like a bunch of like chewy chalk, but whatever. Okay. Here we go.
You're gonna have to put that bread recipe in the newsletter now.
Oh God. I don't know that this is going to be a good one, but I can give you my normal bread recipe that is not gluten-free, but I'm making gluten-free tonight because our cousins eat gluten-free. So when you brush your teeth with your non-dominant hand, something really cool happens on a scientific perspective. Because you have to focus as you're brushing your teeth, your brain's got to really pay attention because you're using the hand you don't normally use. Whatever it is that you're saying, I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to be healthy. It sticks up here because you've activated the part of your brain because you're focusing on brushing your teeth with the hand you normally don't brush with. You've activated that part of the brain. So the message that you're putting in there, I deserve to be healthy, sticks faster. Because if you have a belief that you don't deserve to be healthy or that you're not good enough or that you're a loser or that you're a fat slob, whatever stupid thing you say to yourself, if you believe that, of course you're not going to make healthy decisions. Of course you're going to blow things off. Of course you're always going to find a reason not to stick to it because your belief system tells you not to. So that's why you got to start with the toothbrush trick. And then the second thing I want you to do, could you just pick an easy plan? How about Weight Watchers? Oprah's now in charge of it, so we all know it must be amazing. And it's super simple. I have a ton of friends that have used it. If Weight Watchers isn't your thing, then just pick something simple. Anything will work. Absolutely anything. The trick is catching the belief system that makes you think you don't deserve it and interrupting it and starting to get yourself to believe that you deserve to be healthy, that you deserve to feel good about yourself. Then when you change that belief, you will be in a much better place to stick to a plan because you'll actually believe you deserve to. So that is my recommendation if your dream is to get healthy. And remember, it's a day by day by day. This is not about starting Monday. If you've fallen off the diet plan, you can start right now. You can say from this point forward, you are going to stick to this plan.
Your sense of feeling like the effort is worth it begins and ends with how encouraging, supportive, and kind you are to yourself.
You have to become aware of it, and you have to realize that sometimes, like, the way you talk to yourself, like, believe it or not, it does impact us. And whether we want to admit it or not, I think sometimes people, when they're feeling so down about themselves, they have a hard time admitting that something in their life is going wrong because they're already feeling so low that the idea of even having something bring them even down lower, like, scares the hell out of them, right?
Yeah, so let's break this apart. Let's role play here. Okay? So let's say you are what was the sport that you played as a kid?
I tried to play all sports. I wasn't very good, but I would say the sport that I was the most consistent with was basketball.
Okay. So little Doug is on the basketball court and there's a foul and Doug is the person that is selected to shoot the free throw. And little Doug steps up to the free throw line. And then all of a sudden they call a timeout. and you come running back to the huddle, what would be the most empowering and encouraging and motivating thing that your coach or teammates could do or say in order to help you perform and feel your best when you step onto that line?
Like, I believe in you and you're going to make it.
I believe in you and you're going to make it. You got this. And then they send you back into that game with a high five, right? How would that make you feel, little 9-year-old Doug?
I'd feel pretty confident.
Right. Now, how would little 9-year-old Doug feel if when you came back to that huddle and you're about to go do this free throw, that your teammates are like, oh, him? He's a piece of shit. He screws everything up. Are you kidding me? What? What? Oh my God. Well, he shouldn't be the one that does. How would that make little Doug feel?
It would probably obviously make me feel like I'm not going to make the shot, so why even bother?
Correct. What you say to yourself matters.
Right.
And we understand that from a common sense perspective. But somewhere along the line, we have all stopped saying, you're going to make it. You got this. And we've started saying, you're a piece of shit. You're not good enough. Why even bother? And when you send yourself into a conversation, into a presentation, into even typing up an email, when you start your day by saying, I look terrible, I screwed up again yesterday, I hate my life, that's not going to motivate you to change it. And so your sense of feeling like the effort is worth it begins and ends with how encouraging, supportive, and kind you are to yourself. And, we can also take this little role play exercise and go, well, let's say you miss the shot and you come back to the sideline again. What could your coach say, or what would you want your coach to say to help you get your head back in the game and to brush off the mistake that you just made?
Like, you did your best, Doug. You'll get him next time. Like, get back in there. And I have a feeling you're going to be a positive contribution to the team.
Yeah, that's right. Shake it off. You did
Shake
your
it off.
best. You're going to do it next time. This is you win some, you lose some. Let's go. Now I need you to win some, right? I believe in you.
I think one of the role plays that we could maybe go into that I think is pretty common with people is that they acknowledge that they maybe have to start talking to themselves better. But whatever they start to say that's positive, there's this cognitive dissonance because they just don't believe it.
Right.
How do you get somebody who for the last 10 to 15 years has just been completely destroying themselves self-talk wise, begin to build some consistency with that? So now that becomes a new habit that they're talking to themselves in a more positive way and they actually believe it instead of just saying it.
This is a phenomenal and really smart question. If you have been trashing yourself for 10 years, you do have a cognitive dissonance. You don't even hear it anymore.
Right.
Because that negative, you're a piece of shit, you're not good enough, you screw everything up, first began as something you said. Then it became a belief. Your brain started to align with the belief and it starts to become your identity. I always screw things up. And I want you to hear me loud and clear. If you are on social media and you ever go to the Discover page on Instagram or on TikTok or on any platform, that social media platform has put together a mosaic of content that aligns with everything that you consume in your feed. That social media platform on the Discover page has assembled a world on social media that looks just like the stuff you're always looking at. Your brain works exactly the same way. One of the reasons why it is so important for you to identify how often you are trashing yourself or being pessimistic or you are being negative in your attitude and unkind to yourself is because as long as you think and speak that shit, the discover page of your mind presents a world that matches to that negative dialogue. So that's why this is critical. The second thing that you need to do, because you're unconscious to it, right, is there are two things that are going to work, because just trying to speak kindly often doesn't work because you have so trained your mind that you think you're not good enough, that saying, I'm good enough doesn't work because your brain literally looks at you and like, who are you talking to? Like, because I can't be you. So there's two things that will help you based on the research. The first one is journaling exercises, because there is something that happens when you create a new habit where every single morning before you look at that social media, you open up a blank page. And the way that I journal is very simple. I always start by writing down 5 things that I want. And I just let them flow through me. What are 5 things that I really want? And it might be something small. It might be that, I want a really cool new pair of sneakers. It might be something big. I really want to feel happy. It might be something that is a feeling like, this pandemic has kicked the shit out of everybody. I am not immune from the feeling of burnout or the feeling of languishing, the feeling of disconnection even from self that we can all feel when you're isolated for this long and you're remote for this long and you're stressed out for this long. And so allowing yourself to write down 5 things that you want. I want to feel like myself again. It allows the things that you desire to flow through the self-doubt and through the negativity and through all the crap that buries it and pushes it down, and it allows it to come to the surface. And the writing it down is important because your mind is paying attention. That discover page that your mind creates pays attention to what you say is important. And if you begin a new habit of just starting your day with a blank piece of paper and writing down 5 things that you want, every day. It can be the same things every day. It can be different things every day. You just allow yourself to do this. You will start to build the skill of being connected to what you desire. You will start to develop a skill of tuning out the self-doubt and tuning into what you want. And this is really important because your brain is paying attention, and it doesn't require you to talk to yourself. It just write it on a piece of paper. The next thing that you're going to do, step 2, is write down why you want these things. Because if you have a negative dialogue, Doug, you have for decades talked yourself out of the things that you want. You have filled your heart and your soul and your mind with all the reasons why it's never going to happen. And so by starting every day with a new habit, write down 5 things that you want and then write down why you want these things. You are developing a skill of listening to what you want instead of listening to the self-doubt. That's step 1. That's one thing that you can do to fight decades of negative self-talk. The second thing that you can do is every morning after you brush your teeth, add a high 5 in the mirror to your reflection to your morning routine. That will have a shockingly powerful impact on your negative self-talk. And the reason why it does is because your brain watches you do it, and you only give a high 5 to somebody that you believe in, that you're rooting for, that you're kind to, and that you want to see win. And what we've found based on researching this simple habit, adding a high 5 to the mirror every single morning, you don't say a word. As stupid as it sounds, just high 5 the mirror. What we have found after researching this for 18 months and having 153,000 people from 91 countries do this for 5 days is that it has a profound effect on how you speak to and how you see yourself. because it is an action that demonstrates to your brain that you care about yourself and you support yourself. And so those are two physical things that you can do to start to shut down and fight back against the critic that is programmed into your head. What are the simple things that you can do in order to establish some new habits so that you bring the small discipline that you need, the micro moves that actually make your biggest dreams come true? And for those of you that have been following me for a while, some of this will be a refresher, some of this will be new. This week is all about how you change the small things in your day-to-day life. Hacks, tools, small habits that will help you stay on track. And the thing is that these are habits that whenever I'm not cranking, when I'm not cooking with fire, when I feel like I'm going off track, guarantee, every time I feel that way, I have dropped these small habits out of my own life. And so it's important for everybody to get a refresher. So let me tell you what we're going to do this week. This week, tomorrow, Tuesday, you're going to get an email with a link to, is it a document?
It's a template.
To a template that you can print out that is a list of all my favorite hacks. Every one of them. All the things that help me stay on track. All the things that are mindset tricks. All of the stuff that I do whenever I feel like I'm going off course. All of the little promises that when I keep them, my life works out. And the other assignment for this week is you're going to turn to page 33 in your workbook. This is where week 4 kicks off. And guess what it looks like? Exactly what the other days look like. Why? Because we're training you around the importance of dreaming big. We're teaching you the skill of being able to imagine what's not possible and to fight your limiting belief and your self-doubt as you start to shrink it. And so you're going to continue to write down your 5 big dreams. And interesting thing, since we started doing this at the beginning of January, 4 of my dreams have stayed the same. But by writing it down every single day, I'm getting more and more clarity around the next chapter of the business that I want to build, because I am forcing myself to dream big. I'm forcing myself to write about it every day. And there are some days that I've written it down, I'm like, that's not really specific. Oh, that doesn't really feel right. Oh, there's something off about it. And in the practice of just opening this up and writing your 5 dreams down every day, something interesting is happening in my mind. I am noticing my own limiting beliefs, my own self-doubt, my own shitty excuses starting to melt away. And I'm seeing my mind go, well, why didn't you write it even bigger? Why not dream bigger? Why not, Mel? And I am starting to see a breakthrough for myself in my ability to write down things that feel impossible right now and really feel grounded in the desire to want to achieve them. The other thing you've got down here are places for notes. And, I have insights every day as I'm doing this program. One of them I've already shared with you, that if I want to get to the next level in terms of the kind of company I want to create, there is a dream team of advisors that I need to surround myself with. Very big insight. I'm sure you're having the same one. I'm also noticing that not drinking the month of January, I had a beer like a week ago. I wasn't cheating. I literally was like, I'm just going to have a beer. Other than that, not drinking has been huge for me. Exercising every morning, except for last week when I was deathly ill, has been enormous for me. And I also am realizing that I'm on the move so much and I'm creating so much because I host this talk show that I need more quiet time that is intentional quiet time. I'm not talking about quiet time while I'm commuting. I'm talking about taking time to sit down, to quiet the noise, and to tune into what my intuition is telling me. So as a preview to the long list of hacks and tools that you're going to get tomorrow that are free, I want to walk you through something that we're sending you today. So this is the 5-second journal. We created this a year and a half ago. I'm super proud of this. We put a ton of energy and effort and thought into this journal
For the price, it's $30, which means on Amazon it's probably closer to $21. This thing is so valuable. Look at how thick this is, first of all. Secondly, it's designed so that it can fold back on itself and lie flat. It fits in a purse, a backpack. It's not branded with all kinds of crap on it, so you're not going to be embarrassed if you pull it out of a business meeting. And this is the science-backed journaling method that I use. Now, I want to be very clear. Don't buy this. You do not need to buy this. The reason why you don't need to buy this, because I promised you I'm not trying to jam anything down your throat, is because today we are sending you an email with a link to a free template that you can download. It is a template of the inside of this page, and you can see that I have filled it out today. This is the journaling method that I developed, that people around the world are using, that is based in science that and research that we have pulled from Harvard Business School, from the University of Delaware, from the University of Florida, from Caltech. It leverages things like the progress principle and the Zeigarnik effect. These are all very fancy words that means there are small things that you can do to tweak your mind and boost your productivity and take control. So today, for example, you start off with the fuel gauge, which is you measuring your energy. I circled middle of the range, which is like meh. And then you go over here and say, well, why do you feel this way? Well, I've got some big news that's hitting this week, and I have no idea how it's going to play out, so that makes me feel uncertain. Kobe's death has certainly stirred a bunch of stuff inside of me personally and as a parent. And people around me right now are stressed. And as you've learned in this course, energy is contagious. And so that's why I woke up today and my energy was like, meh. So the reason why you assess your energy is because if you boost your energy first thing, it impacts your productivity all day. And so to feel more energized, what can I do? Because if you wake up feeling, you're going to feel out of control. Well, there's things I can do. I can take time for myself today. I can listen to music. I can call somebody that makes me laugh. All things that will boost my energy immediately. In fact, just scheduling in the time ahead today to do those things will boost my energy immediately. That's important because it snaps my mind back in focus despite what's going on around me and helps me take control of my day. Then we jump down here to the Harvard Business School section and the progress principle. Today, my top project is staying optimistic. Now notice, it's not something physical that I'm doing. It's something mental that I'm doing. Why is staying optimistic important to me? This matters to me because my mindset is something I can control despite what's going on around me. The post we put up on social media today is all about optimism. Optimism isn't just throwing your hands in the air and creating and brushing everything with a positive lens. Optimism is telling yourself that regardless of what's happening around you, you can impact the outcome based on your attitude and your effort. And I believe that. I truly believe that. One small action I can take to move forward and be more optimistic, breathe, journal. When I feel myself stressing out, take a deep breath and remind myself that regardless of what happens, I will move forward. That it's not an ending, it's not a beginning, it's always a continuation in life, always. Why does this matter to me? Or other thoughts? Well, that energy is contagious and to really keep my force field up this week because people are so stressed. And today, I'm grateful for my family. If there's nothing else that Kobe's tragic death and his daughter and the other family should remind you of, is that life is fucking fragile. And if you're feeling it today, make sure that you double down on expressing your love and your gratitude for the people who are in your life that mean something to you.
I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but all those unhealthy habits that you really know you need to change are contributing to this and this disconnection. And a lot of my work is focused on the fact that it's all about the little things, that one decision can change the trajectory of your life, that all the little decisions that you make have this extraordinary ripple effect in a positive direction. The same is true about negative decisions. I guarantee you, if you right now are part of the 89% of people who say that they feel stuck, I guarantee you your morning routine is off. I guarantee you the simple things that bring you energy, you're not doing them. It never fails in my life, everybody. Never fails. The moment I feel off, the moment that I feel disconnected from purpose, the moment I feel passion just fly right out the window, if I take a look at all the little things I'm doing every day, it's not the stuff that actually sets me up for success. You know, in life, we focus so much on the big stuff that we forget that your life is the little things. Your life is the little things, everybody. And if you focus on just getting the little things right, the big things always take care of themselves. And if you really look at all the little decisions that you make, sleeping in, drinking too much, not journaling, hanging out with people that bring you down, putting up with the bare minimum, not having boundaries, eating crap, not moving your body, spending too much time on your phone, all that stuff leads you in a direction that you didn't intend to go. The positive works the exact same way. And so really underestimating the power of the little unhealthy or negative or destructive decisions that you make or habits that you have, that's a major mistake.
I have followed the personal development world for a really long time, and you have just inspired me to continue on my path of entrepreneurship that has taken away my doubt, the fear, the anxiety, the negative self-talk, all of those things. So I follow a lot of the personal development people, and yours has stuck the most with me. Has actually resonated and it actually has worked.
Why do you think that is?
Because, that's a great question.
Hold my hands because I can see your shape.
I am. I think you're just real about it. There's no sugarcoating it. You connect with it. It's not where you're telling us to not say do things, but the other personal development people tell you to dream big and you think these things, but it's the taking that blockage away. Okay, I want to dream to go have a house in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And I'm okay, well, I'm still blocking that in my way. So I have to think about reframing my mind and all those things and how to do it.
Yeah.
And you have taught me how to do it. So I have 6 mantras that I say every morning that you have taught me.
What are they?
Well,
I need them.
Well, they're yours.
What are my 6 mantras that move the most for you?
So every single day, the first I say is, the world needs my story.
Yes.
I say my next chapter is just beginning.
Yes.
I say I'm growing every day.
Yes.
I say every day I'm getting stronger.
Yes.
I say what's meant for me is trying to find me.
Yes.
Which is my absolute favorite one because I had a hard time comparing myself to other people in my industry and been oh gosh, the right people aren't going to come.
What is your industry?
So I'm a professional home organizer.
Fabulous.
And so I'm everyone else is, I'm not getting the clients I want or this and that, but that one was huge.
You traveled here for this event.
Yes.
I've heard about you. Yes. I heard that you traveled here out of state to come.
I came from Charlotte.
Yes, from Charlotte to Fargo.
Yes. Well, I'm originally from Fargo.
Okay.
So this is my
But
home.
still, you traveled, so I'm going to give you credit for that. You get a high five for traveling that far.
Yes, the high five. So that, and then I'm committed to my financial freedom. And then another one that I did from meditation is abundance flows to me and abundance flows through me.
Yes.
So those are what you have taught me and they've helped me and I say them every day and it has helped my mindset more than I can tenfold ever thank you for.
And you're welcome. Thank you for trying it. Because I often think that the reason why the things that I'm talking about work is because they're so damn simple.
They are.
And sometimes they sound so stupid, especially when the problems are big or the goals are big.
Yes.
But when it's simple, you can remember it. Mm-hmm. And in a moment of doubt or fear, you can apply it.
100%.
And when you use one of those 6 reframes, It removes the thinking that's keeping you from taking the actions.
100%.
Because the simple secret is this. If you know what you want, what you have to do is bring yourself back to the present moment and just align your thoughts and action with the thing that you want. So imagine the person in Hawaii. Imagine the organizing business. And you've got your millions of followers and your HGTV show, or maybe you're on the Magnolia Network. I don't know. Maybe that's your dream. Or maybe you're doing a YouTube show, right? So you have a dream and you give yourself permission to have the dream. And then you say, okay, well, here I am today on a Tuesday. And I'm standing in my current life. How do I think like the person who has what I want? And what's the one action I could take today that aligns with turning my life toward the thing that's meant for me? And so I'm so proud of you because you are allowing yourself to hear your heart's desire and you are pushing yourself to walk toward it every single day. I love you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
This is
So
awesome.
what's blocking you currently?
Well, see,
Yeah, that one.
I
Yeah,
have
what is
a
it?
whole list of questions. So, like, what's blocking me currently, like, with the realm and my space in that world? So, like,
Yeah.
everyone knows the names of, like, the
Home
Home
Edit.
Edit, Marie Kondo, and I love them. I respect them.
Right.
And I'm like, how do I move my mind frame of my limitations, thinking they have made it so big and so far. Like, I want to get there, but like, I don't even know how to take that away to get my mindset around thinking I can get to that level.
Right.
Like, how do I get there without feeling like a copycat, but also like knowing that it's possible because they're doing it.
Yes.
So
Okay.
I'm stuck right there.
Got it. So you're stuck in comparison.
100%.
And the people that are ahead of you on the path that you're walking down
Yeah.
are making you invalidate yourself.
Totally.
Great. No, not great. Not great. Not great. But this is normal.
Yeah.
Okay, it's normal.
Okay.
It's normal. So one of the reasons why our brain sees everybody that's ahead of us as competition is it's trying to protect you from taking any kind of risks.
Yes.
Normal for your brain to do this. This is where reframes are critical. I also want to tell you, I struggle with the same thing. I am launching a brand new podcast show in October. All I see around me are the 2 million shows out there, the bigger ones, the this, the that, the other thing. And if I look at them as being ahead of me, I immediately go, why am I even doing this?
100%.
Yes. Okay, so here's how you're going to reframe this.
Okay.
You have to say, they are a light on the path.
Okay.
They're a light on the path I'm walking down.
Yep.
They are showing me it's possible. That's number one.
Yes.
Number
Yes.
two, there is no copying because
Okay.
there are no original ideas. Seriously.
Right.
I want you to
Okay.
be inspired. You're not
Yes.
copying, you're inspired by what they're
Right.
doing.
Right.
Okay? And when you look at a pantry, if you're inspired by what Marie Kondo does or the Home Edit does, you are going to look at the pantry and take that inspiration and do it your way.
Right.
So do not invalidate the fact that your dreams and these people that are showing up are actually trying to get you to feel inspired again.
Okay.
Your doubt and your fear
Yeah.
is blocking the inspiration. By
Okay.
calling it I'm copying them,
Yes.
you're demeaning the fact that your dreams are getting stirred up.
Right.
Your inspiration is
Right,
going.
right.
So you got to keep walking toward that. Okay, that's number two. Number three, you may never get there. You may be way bigger. You might.
That's true. Okay.
You might.
Okay.
You might.
Yeah.
And you also are so lucky because you can study everything that they did.
True.
And then you can take the step that they took and you can go, oh, this feels right for me.
Right.
Or you can take the step they took and go, ew, I wouldn't do it that way.
Sure.
I'm going to do it this way.
Okay.
And so literally use their path to test out ways to try this.
Okay.
Because the thing is, you're going to build your business your way.
Right.
It is a gift
Right.
that other people, you know what I'm doing right now? 4 months ahead of launching my own podcast, I am stalking every podcast person. I am listening to their opening episodes. I am studying what they do.
Okay.
I am practicing and I'm trying to figure out what feels right for me
Okay.
by following what other people have done.
Okay.
It's impossible for you to be somebody else.
Right. Absolutely.
But in trying and practicing and being inspired by other people, you are going to build the skills and the muscle to find the courage to put your own spin on it.
Okay.
You got it?
I got it.
Okay, good.
I'm gonna do it.
And now here's the other thing.
It's not a freaking race.
Okay.
Please play the long game.
Okay.
Please do this because you love organizing.
Yes. Yes.
Tell me why you love organizing.
Well, a lot of reasons. One, I just love being able to help people. I can
Great.
see it like there, but I also know from ADHD standpoint, like my history with school was so hard. And like that's, I wouldn't say like my scarring moment, but I had to be organized. I didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Because I would have failed out of school.
Yeah.
And I wanted to achieve. So it's like, it has got me to where I am today because of that.
Yeah.
So that's why I love it. I see people so frustrated, and I always thought everyone knew how to do it.
So this is perfect. That's the long game.
Okay.
You're not addicted to organizing a pantry. You're addicted to that moment where somebody has a breakthrough in what life could be like if they're organized.
Yes. Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Stay attached to that.
Okay.
Play the long game.
Okay.
It won't ever matter how much money you make or how many followers you have
Right.
or what product deals you make.
Yes.
Because you'll stay attached to the heart and soul of why you're doing this.
Okay.
Got it?
I got it.
Good. Awesome. Go get them. Go get them. I'm so proud of you. Why has it been tough? You really love her. You're getting on a plane and you're going to go see her.
Yeah, I love her a bunch.
Okay.
So, I guess I'm kind of coming to the realization that I haven't been hearing her properly, connecting with her on the level that I should be. And now trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
So a couple months ago, we've been having counseling. And,
That's good. My husband and I go to counseling.
It helps. She was doing it before, and then it kind of became the group, and then now I kind of see it a little bit on my own. So I'm recognizing these things, but I also know like a couple of months ago in counseling, she admitted on her last tour that she had emotionally connected with somebody else. So obviously that put a big fire under my ass.
Yeah.
And supposedly
It's scary.
Supposedly I handled it really well, so she's wanting to, do all this. She's worked a lot on herself for kind of getting to the point where she's at.
Yeah.
She's got a spot on the bookshelf that's 12, 15 composition books deep of just thoughts ever since she was back, I think she said, to like 12.
Amazing.
So, because of some things that happened to her before that age of being taken advantage of.
This is Spirit Flight 282 services to Pittsburgh at gate 17. This is serving as a final boarding call. The doors are closing in about 3 minutes, and they will not
doing this, you realize how much you need to work on yourself.
It's scary. And then a lot of regrets come up, and a lot of things you wish you could do over, and then you start to realize there's shit from your past that really messed with you, that you shoved down, that happened when you were a kid. This is, I think, the cycle that we all hit in adulthood. And here's the amazing opportunity. You not only have an amazing opportunity to change the person that you are and to change the relationship that you have with your life, but you have an amazing opportunity to change the relationship you have with yourself. Because your thoughts, your feelings, they actually matter too. And you can't get...
I've been neglected.
Yes. See, relationships are amplifiers. You go into a relationship and you're not right with yourself, that relationship just magnifies what's missing. What did you just get from that?
I like that. Well, it's going to expose those demons more.
Yeah. And here's the thing that most men, at least in a traditional gender sense, don't understand. That it takes tremendous strength to be vulnerable. It takes tremendous strength to talk about the shit that's bothering you.
Yeah.
It takes tremendous strength to admit that you're wrong and to be scared. And that's actually what makes you connect more deeply to your partner. My husband of 25 years failed miserably in the restaurant business. Nearly bankrupted us. Lost it all. When he left the business, he was an alcoholic and completely lost and demoralized. And I did not know until recently, because it was through these rock bottom moments that my career took off. I invented this little thing called the 5-second rule. that I used to get out of bed when the anxiety was so crushing. The only thing that would help me escape it was drinking myself into oblivion to numb it all out. And I started using this little brain hack to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, shut down the noise in my brain and launch myself forward through the fear, through the pain, through all of it. And my whole life turned around. Chris's life turned around. But I did not know until recently, when we've been in couples therapy, that the man has, for the last 8 years, just been beating the hell out of himself because he feels like he failed. He feels like he wasn't there for me. He feels like he didn't do his job providing.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. And then when your spouse starts to get successful and they start to find themselves, it gets very confronting. And so what I want to tell you is that the opportunity to connect with her is through being open and through being vulnerable. Like, go toward that shit. I'm proud of you.
I've been doing it, as you see.
I can see that. I can see that. I can see that. And you got to learn how to love yourself, regardless of what happened, regardless of what you did or didn't do, regardless of all that. You got to learn how to look in the mirror and see a man who is worth rooting for and who is worthy of love. It is not too late to change this. It is not too late to change your life. It's not too late to change your marriage. But it's an inside-out job. You start to show yourself some kindness and some love. And you start sharing more of the stuff that's coming up for you. And that is the path that's going to actually heal you. And it's going to
stop.
Yes.
Yeah. So to speak. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Just need my mojo back. I think that's what she met in me. I had a nice swagger and everything, but it's gotten diluted or
by life.
I think so. Maybe my own just being stagnant. And
that's it.
Accepting instead of keep pushing.
You know, my good friend Joel Marin, who you should follow, just sent me a freaking thing that he wrote today. Oh my God, Joel! Praise you, Joel. Joel, I cannot believe this. Joel Marin, I'll give you his name. He literally wrote me this whole thing that he wrote today that you need to hear. Wait till I'm going to find out. Marion. He wrote me this whole thing about the fact that when we are born, we have incredible potential, but so few of us realize what we're capable of. And he uses this analogy. This is in your DNA. You were created to be a Lamborghini in life. You have literally everything inside you to be able to perform like that Lambo. You're manufactured that way. That engine, 729 horsepower engine, is in there. That insane torque. You have unbelievable intrinsic ability to go from 0 to 65 miles per hour in under 3 seconds. But for most of us, we never experience close to those numbers that we are created to perform at. And so he tells a story about how he was test driving one, but the neighborhood he's in has like 35 mile per hour speed limit.
Okay.
He ended up not buying it because he never experienced the potential.
Right.
What you're talking about is you're talking about the fact that you actually know there is that inside of you. And when you lose your capacity that you were built in, and you stop growing, and you stop stretching yourself, and you stop pushing yourself forward and learning new stuff and expressing yourself, something inside you starts to feel like it's dying.
Yeah.
And so I'm telling you,
that engine.
Yes, it's still there. And the reason why it's still there is because you're missing it.
Yeah.
And you can only miss something you know.
Okay.
So I think Joel sent me that for a reason. In times of my life when I've felt lost or stagnant, I say I feel like a racehorse tied to a pony ride at a kid's birthday party. Like I am built to fucking run.
Yeah.
And I hate it when I feel like just tied down like that.
Yeah.
And so there is something inside you that you've been holding back. What do you think it is?
I'm not really sure.
Well, I would take on a challenge.
I'm not sure if it's a passion that I've ever tapped into or something that I've missed since, earlier years.
Who knows? I think you should take on a challenge. I think you should take on climbing some mountain or some kind of race or some like fitness thing, something that's a little out of your comfort zone to give you something to push you. It doesn't have to be the perfect thing. Just something that you're up to is enough.
Yeah.
But I want to acknowledge you for the fact that you recognize that there's an issue and you're taking the steps to go make the effort. If you're getting on a plane, you're flying to surprise your wife.
Not only that, but I deal with motion sickness, vertigo, and
awesome.
And I don't drive well at night, so I've got the bands on.
Great, they work.
I took my motion sickness pills.
I love that. I give you a high five for that. That's fantastic.
We're doing what we can.
You're doing it. Then does she know you? She doesn't know you're coming.
She does now.
Oh, good.
She didn't a couple days ago, but then we were trying to do the pregnancy reveal to some of the family because we just found out last week.
Congratulations!
So she was all like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. You're there, I'm here, and I want to video chat my family and be able to like tell them because she's up where some of the family is and she was seeing someone were coming to visit. So I told her, I'll tell you what, well, I'm actually coming up there. So she was pretty surprised, but
That's awesome. You're going to be an awesome dad. You want to know who the best dads are?
Yeah.
The ones who are actually right with themselves.
That's true.
The ones who are able to talk about their emotions. The ones who are able to be human.
This is my second child. This is her first, but I told them, my son's almost 23.
That's amazing.
So to start over is it's been a lot of emotion.
You're not going to start over. You actually are building upon. Okay.
And my son's been great. He's guys would be super impressed with how good my son is. He hasn't seen his mom since he was 6 years old, so I kind of raised him on my own. I mean, there's people in and out of the life, but yeah.
You got a moment in your life to make yourself really proud of yourself.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And if I were a betting woman, some days I am, depends how much liquor I get, I'd place my bet on it.
That's what I'd like. I want that more than anything.
Don't wish for it, don't want it.
And my wife deserves it.
Do the work. No, hold on.
What? Go ahead.
You deserve it.
I deserve it. Okay.
Give yourself what you're seeking from other people. Seek redemption and forgiveness because you deserve it from yourself. And in my book, forgiveness means that you have stopped wishing things could be different. Accept everything that's happened or didn't happen as a lesson. And as long as you hold on to that shit from the past, you're actually still there.
Yeah.
What'd you get out of this?
I got a little more resiliency, a little pick-me-up, and I'm glad I came and talked to you very much and took the time. I wasn't sure if I was imposing because I didn't know if it was more like a female thing, but I have plenty of emotion that I'm pretty open with. Sometimes too open, maybe. I don't
think so. I'm also going to introduce you to my husband. So he created a men's group a men's retreat called Soul Degree, where he takes guys out into the woods for 5 days to actually have these kinds of conversations. And he's had guys from 22 to 60 plus, multiple tours of duty, professional athletes, regular, just everyday folks like all of us. And it's remarkable. And what he also does, because he only does these a couple times a year, is he also has calls every month where it's guys get on and he leads a meditation and then there's a topic that y'all discuss and it's really freaking cool. And so I will make sure that you have his information and I will get both of your email addresses and I will have my team email you a credit so you can listen to one of my books on Audible.
That's cool. I've been doing a lot more trying to listen to stuff and you just don't know what direction to go because some people just want to make some money on you and there's so much out there. You just want to find the right path.
Yeah.
As best as possible.
Yeah.
So,
awesome.
Thank you.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume that since you're listening to this or watching this, you, like me, are a high achiever. You have very high standards for yourself. You're looking to improve your life. Well, I want to flag a very big mistake that took me 52 years to uncover and to change in my own life. And it is the single biggest and most profound change that I have ever discovered. And it is this. At a very young age, I started to realize, and I think, we all have this epiphany where we go, oh, holy cow. When I get good grades, my parents like me and they love me. I get a lot of positive attention when I make the football team. I'm really feeling loved when I make the cheerleading squad. Ooh, when I got into that college or had that major or made that money or bought that nice car, people really gave me a lot of positive attention. And we high achievers make a mistake of fusing what we're doing with our worthiness. We start to believe that we are only worthy of celebration, support, and love when we are doing something that is worth celebrating or worth validating or worth cheering for. And if you don't wake up and separate the things that you're doing and striving for and the goals that you have from your inherent self-worth as a human being, you will forever feel this sense that you're not enough. You will forever feel this void. Because if your self-worth and your lovability is anchored in achievement, even when you make $1 million, even when you make the New York Times bestseller list, even when you meet the person of your dreams, the second you achieve that thing, you're going to now look for something else because your worth as a human being depends on what you're doing. The high five habit is all about this radical idea that will change your life. And the idea is this. If you are breathing, you're worthy of celebration. The mere fact that you exist is why you are worthy of being loved and supported and forgiven. And it's why you deserve kindness. It's not because you made it to the gym. It's not because you're making $100,000. It's not because you just got promoted. Should you celebrate those wins? Of course. But those wins are not the reason why you're an extraordinary human being. And, I had this all knotted up. And, I wondered, why did I, every time I achieved my goals, I would still see a woman in the mirror that wasn't enough. I was my own worst critic. And by critic, this is what I mean. I was relentless in focusing on what wasn't working. I was relentless in pointing out to myself all the things I did wrong instead of the 1,000 things I was doing right. And that constant grinding beatdown was so just much the default. I wasn't even aware of it until I discovered the power of high-fiving myself in the mirror and silencing that critic. And, I'll tell you an even more personal thing that I bet a bunch of you are going to really relate to. So when I discovered the high five habit, and it was just by dumb luck, I was going through a lot in my life. It was April of 2020. There was a lot going on in my business. This was before the PPP loans had come out. The speaking business was in a free fall. My television show had been canceled. Our kids had come home and they were just exploding with anxiety and grief and anger about college getting canceled. It was just like a mess. And I would wake up in the morning and I just felt overwhelmed by my life. And it doesn't even matter what's going on in the backdrop because I think we've all had that experience where you just feel overwhelmed by your to-do list. You feel overwhelmed by how busy your life is. You feel overwhelmed by the issues that you're facing. Even though there's other amazing things going on, it's like the overwhelm that drags you down. And so I'm standing in the bathroom And I look at myself in the mirror and I immediately begin with the beat down. I'm like, oh, God, you look terrible. And the lines on my neck and one boob's hanging lower than the other. And, you know, I did the circles under my eyes. And then, of course, once your mindset goes critical, it rests there. So it went from attacking my physical appearance to, why did I wake up so late? God, I got 8 minutes to get on a Zoom call. You forgot to text Scott back. Oh, come on, Mel. Like, boom, 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 boom. No grace, no kindness, no compassion. That's how I started my day. And in this moment, on a random morning on April 2020, all of a sudden, this is divine intervention. There is no question. I stop for a second and I realize, holy cow, that woman in the mirror looks beaten down and overwhelmed. And for whatever reason, I just raised my hand and I gave her a high five in the mirror. And, you know, look, it's not like lightning struck in that moment. But what happened is my shoulders dropped. I laughed because it seemed so stupid. But I felt this like energy shift. It was sort of like a shift like, all right, okay, sort of like if a teammate blows a free throw in basketball. When you high five them, it's like, shake it off. Come on, we're going to still win. Get out there. I believe in you. Let's go. It's that kind of energy. And so I felt that. And I kind of had this like, come on, you got a roof over it. You're going to be fine. You're going to figure it out. I know it's a lot, but you're going to figure it out. And boom, I went on with my day. And the next day I did it again. And the next day I did it again. And the next day I did it again. And I started to realize I was feeling something. First of all, the critic was shutting up because here's where the science gets crazy cool. And this isn't just Mel Robbins science. The woman who discovered neuroplasticity 30 years ago, that neuroscientist, went bananas. Her head basically exploded when I started discussing the high five habit. So we've been getting a ton of questions about being paralyzed with the fear of what other people think. And this is so commonplace. I think every human being on the planet is paralyzed in some aspect or some area of their life because they're concerned about what their parents or what their friends or what their friends on Facebook or what their colleagues or what their upline or their downline or whatever, what their neighbors are going to think. If you are struggling with this and you have not found it helpful to attack your thinking patterns, then here's a trick that I want you to try to break the pattern of being paralyzed by what other people think. I want you to pick one thing that you've been wanting to do, that you've been thinking about, but you have stopped yourself from doing because you're concerned about what other people think. Let me give you some examples. Maybe you've wanted to go on a wellness retreat, but you think your spouse will roll their eyes at you, so you haven't done it. Maybe you have a particular Facebook post or a blog. So many of you want to start a business or start creating art, but you're terrified of putting yourself out there because of what other people will think. Today, we're going to break that pattern. What you're going to do is you're going to pick one thing you've been stopping yourself from doing, and you're going to do it. You're going to do it. And the reason why I want you to do this is because I know that if you're still paralyzed, you have not been able to change your thinking patterns yet. That's cool. No problem. We're going to try a different tactic. I want you to change this paralysis through action. Because if you sign up for that class, if you go on that retreat, if you create your art, if you post that blog post, if you start that business, you will be proving to yourself through the actions that you're taking that you don't care what other people think. Try that today. Let me know, number one, what you've stopped yourself from doing, and number two, what you're committing to doing today. Because one way to break this is to attack the thoughts and change the thoughts and get into action first. The other way to do it is to recognize that you're paralyzed, pick one thing that you're going to do, and actually get it done. Hey, it's Mel. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed that video, by God, please subscribe because I don't want you to miss a thing. Thank you so much for being here. We've got so much amazing stuff coming. Thank you so much for sending this stuff to your friends and your family. I love you. We create these videos for you. So make sure you subscribe. Mwah.